Good evening and welcome to the Superintendent Contract Subcommittee, Tuesday, April 13th of the Brockton School Committee. Due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic and state of emergency, on March 12, 2020, Governor Baker issued an executive order temporarily suspending certain provisions of the Open Meeting Law, GL Chapter 30A, Section 20. Pursuant to the order, public bodies are temporarily relieved from the Open Meeting Law's requirement that meetings be held in public places, open and physically accessible to the public, so long as measures are taken to ensure the public's access to the body's deliberations through adequate alternative means. This meeting will be held and will be accessible to the public via Brockton Community Access, Brockton Public Schools website, www.bpsma.org, YouTube and Comcast Channel 98 and 1071 HD. The public can access this meeting via this link, www.youtube.com/TheBrocktonChannels. All right. Next order of business, I will call the roll to establish a quorum for this meeting. Mayor Sullivan.
Here.
All right. D'Agostino is here. Ms. Asak.
Here.
Mrs. Mendez.
Here.
Mr. Minicello.
Here.
Mr. Rodriguez.
Here.
Mrs. Sullivan.
Here.
Okay, we have a quorum.
One more. Here.
Oh, geez, I'm sorry.
Too many Sullivans here, that's what it is.
I know, I should just call you out as the three
1, 2,
Sullivans
and
and let
3.
you all say
Yeah.
yes.
Three Musketeers.
All right, I apologize for that, Tim. Thank you for understanding. That was certainly not intentional.
Oh, I know.
All right. So we do have a lengthy agenda for a superintendent contract subcommittee meeting. We'll start off the evening with the superintendent goals for 2020 to 2021. Then we will go to our technology tutorial, and this will be a tutorial in the new process and tools that we'll use for the evaluation process. Then we will have item number 3, other business. And then item number 4, this committee will go into executive session, so we'll get to that at the end. And before we get started, Dr. Connors and Mrs. Kopp, I want to thank you both for all your effort. I mean, it was just, 2 weeks ago, I think, that we said we were doing this on this date, and you guys put a lot of work into getting this together and getting these tools ready for us very quickly, and I really appreciate your effort and jumping right on this, so thank you both. And then also just 2 housekeeping things to mention to the committee. I talked to Dr. Connors about the mid-cycle that we did schedule for December, and I wanted to clarify what that is. It is not a evaluation like we're about to do, where we're going through, looking at evidence, and filling out and completing a formal evaluation. We probably didn't realize that those of us that have been on a few years, we're doing a mid-cycle review at some point. It's just a presentation mid-cycle from the superintendent to the committee saying, here were the goals, here's my progress, here's where we are so far. And then you get to what is now the end of cycle review, which is this formal review process that we are all too familiar with. The other thing, too, is I think that the schedule went out saying that it was the mid-cycle that was due the 31st, and obviously that was just a typo. It's the end of cycle. With that, I believe we'll turn it over to the superintendent.
I think I'm on to go first, right? Yes, you are. All right, so I just want to go over, and I think you have the presentation in front of you. So I know that Mrs. Kopp and Dr. Connors will explain, obviously the evaluating the superintendent, the cycle that we go through, and then the progress towards the achievement of the goals. Again, the student learning goal, professional practice goal, and then 2 to 4 district improvement goals. And then the performance on each one of the standards in the Department of Education superintendent and district administrative rubric. So on page 2, so what we'll do tonight is review the goals. If you look at the second overview of the superintendent's evaluation process 2020-21, review of the goals, presentation of the evidence, and then the evaluation of the evidence. So going on page 3 is the student learning goal. So this year, ensure students and their teachers have access to high-quality, research-based instructional resources across all content areas. Those resources must support a shift, again, this year's focus, a shift from remote to hybrid teaching and learning, and then a transition to in-person learning, which obviously we've been working on all year. And they're connected to the following standards: instructional leadership, management and operations, family and community engagement, and then a professional culture. Any questions on that? All right. And then the professional practice goal is build a collaborative professional culture in which all stakeholders are invested in a shared vision that prioritizes student academic success and the social and emotional wellness. So again, connected to the following standards in the rubric: the instructional leadership promotes the learning of growth of all students and the success of all staff by having a shared vision that makes powerful teaching and learning the central focus of schooling. Management and operations promotes learning and growth of all students and success by ensuring a safe, efficient, effective learning environment, and then using resources to implement appropriate curriculum, staffing, and scheduling. Family and community engagement promotes the learning and growth of all students and success of all staff through effective partnerships with families, community organizations, and other stakeholders that support the mission of the school district. And then the professional culture standard promotes success for all students by nurturing and sustaining a school culture of reflective practice, high expectations, and continuous learning for staff. Again, that's the professional practice goal. District Goal 1, so these are the district goals: culture and context. Review the organizational climate and culture in the Brockton Public Schools and its impact on the instructional environment. Again, connected to the standards: instructional leadership, management and operations, family and community engagement, and then obviously the professional culture. District Goal 2, organizational efficiency and effectiveness. Ensure organizational efficiency and effectiveness to streamline operations and support all schools. Is connected to the following standards: promotes the learning and growth of all students and success of all staff, again, by ensuring safe and efficient, effective learning environment, using resources to implement appropriate curriculum, staffing, and scheduling. District Goal 3, operations and finance. Strengthen operations and finance effectiveness, fiscal, human resources, facilities, communications, transportation, and informational technology. It's connected to Standard 2, management and operations. So, again, those are the goals. And then what we'll do is the evidence is going to be explained tonight, how that will be uploaded. So my office, working with Melinda Campbell and Donna Migdale, will start to upload all evidence. There'll be a ton of it that we'll upload that support all of the goals and the areas that have been worked on and that me and this district have worked on. Again, and I said this last time, this part of the job is kind of embarrassing because you're putting everything into something that other people do all the work and I get evaluated on. And so, it's just, this is the evidence you'll see is just a lot of hard work by teachers, support staff, administrators in the Brockton Public Schools, the executive team, and also the school committee, because there'll be minutes from school committee meetings and work that you have done, the work that has been done with our new subcommittee around, obviously, diversity, equity, diversity, inclusion, and race, the workshops around our retreat, the work that was done in the retreat, and also the way the school committee has supported me in the district as we moved into a very difficult year in a pandemic, promoting what we needed to do to make sure teachers and students had everything they needed for remote learning, and then the support to make sure we were able to switch to hybrid learning. And then, as you know, is when we move into the week after vacation, we'll move into full in-person learning, pre-K to 8. So all that evidence will be uploaded, and I'll let Dr. Connors and Mrs. Kopp explain, unless anybody has any questions, they'll explain how there'll be a team site set up, and so to help streamline the process and make the evidence easily available to you.
Thank you, Superintendent. Before we go to the training item, is there any questions from any of the members of the committee thus far? All right.
Okay. I think. Nope, I'm good. Thank you, though. Appreciate it. I am going to share my screen, though. Do I need that microphone over there? All right.
You don't have to stay here, then you can actually just have a seat right here and
Yep.
talk to the mic.
Yep. Great. Okay. Thank you for your patience, everybody. Okay. First, I'm really excited to actually share with you some of the technology that teachers are using in the schools and to deliver remote learning. So I think this is great to bring you along with us. I'm really pleased about that. So what I did for you all, Michelle and I did and organized, was a Microsoft Teams site. And a Teams site is really a collaborative space for you all to do your work. And why I think this is so important is because this is how your teachers that you're supporting and our students are working right now currently with their educators to receive content, to deliver assignments. A lot of the high school is using both a combination of Teams and Schoology, so I'd like to actually commend you for taking this on and trying something new. Really, the way a team site is set up is that it allows you to both chat with each other, but it also allows us to post files and you to have your own collaborative space. I'm going to show you when you logged into Teams, you all logged in and saw a tile with the B symbol, which is our new logo. And I named our team site, your team site, the Brockton School Committee team site. Each of you are members of that team. I'm also a member. Mrs. Campbell is a member, Miss Donna Migdal is a member, and the superintendent is a member. But if you look at the left of the team site, you all have a name there. Your name should be there. And that is your private space that only you can enter, and you can put your own information in there. I'm going to take you on a little tour through the team site, if that's okay with everybody, just for a couple minutes so you know how this works. Really, what this is going to be, because we heard you last time, this is going to be a space where you can view all the evidence from. It's going to be all in one place. You're not going to get 10 different emails from Donna or Melinda regarding different evidence. It's all going to be posted in one place for you to look at your convenience. And then I also we heard you about streamlining the process by which you account for the ratings. So we have revised the Microsoft form that Mr. DiAgostino gets, and that has been streamlined just to receive your ratings. So you'll have Microsoft Word as the way in which you account for the narrative. You'll have the evidence all in one place, and then you would have a streamlined form to which to submit your ratings to Mr. DiAgostino. So I'm going to actually step off the microphone for a second and just take you through a little bit so you can see how the team site, or Michelle will do that. Thank you, Michelle. To navigate the team site. I'm a terrible friend. I let her
Where do you want me to go?
limp over there. If you want to go into just the general file, the Files tab. If you look at every team site is set up the exact same way. There's a general tab with posts, files. I don't know if any of you got a message from me today, but I did post something in the chat. welcome to the team site, just so you could see how that works. You can all chat each other in the team site. If you wanted to send a message to each other, we can show you how to go about doing that. But I don't want to give you too much information because I don't want to overwhelm you. But I do want to say to you that in the file situation, this is what the superintendent was just speaking about. This is what the superintendent was just speaking about. How we've decided to organize this site is to give you all of the material that we present here to you, all of the PowerPoints, all of the presentation that the superintendent just spoke about, and also all the evidence. So right now we have the file structure set up like this, where there are the evaluation process supporting documents. That includes the rubrics that you all have seen, how you evaluate the superintendent, the DESE rubrics, the DESE guidance, and also the school committee, the superintendent's evaluation information that we've presented at various points. So this is just a reference place for you so that everything lives in one place. You don't have to find yourself going through a lot of emails, agendas, different things. It's all in one location. As it relates to the superintendent's overall evaluation, one of the things that we decided to do was in the goal evidence folder. Can you tell Michelle and I have worked together before? If you look at the way the goals are that the superintendent just presented, he presented you a student learning outcome goal, a professional practice goal, and then 3 district goals. Within each one of these files will be where that evidence lives. So when Donna and Melinda upload the evidence, it will live in these files. Nothing's been put in there yet because we just set up this file structure today, and I wanted to make sure that this was everyone was comfortable with this. But when we go in and upload the evidence, within those files, you will see those PowerPoints, those emails, those minutes that the superintendent referenced. The other thing to keep in mind with regard to this particular file structure is that you will see repetitive evidence, because we want, if you're talking about a rating for the superintendent with regard to District Goal 1, for example, all of the evidence would be there in that file. It might be also some of that same evidence you might see in the District Goal 2 folder, but it's so that it can streamline it for you in evaluating that evidence. So you don't have to go back and forth to different files and so on. Whatever the superintendent feels is evidence that speaks to those goals, or whether it's a student learning outcome goal or a district goal, he would put in those folders. Okay? Now, with regard, if we could go, if you could go back to the posts and how that works. This is a great feature. This is how we communicate with our students regularly. Every day, my team in the Red House posts things on the Red House team site, so students know if there's a teacher absent, if there's extracurricular offering, different things like this. It's a great way to communicate with each other. This is a general chat that you can, and I actually sent these messages to you today. You can @ any one of your fellow colleagues on the school committee and send them a message, and they would get a message sent to their email, if you have your notifications turned on, that actually whatever it is that you wanted to say to them. So if Mr. D'Agostino, you said, hey, please remember that we have, the ratings are due on this day. You can chat your colleagues and chat them in the teams, and they'll get that as an email message. It's just another means by which you can communicate with each other. This chat is used a little more informally than an email situation is created. What I did, if you could open, Michelle, that superintendent end of cycle ratings, Microsoft form. It should open, hopefully. So this speaks to, I put this here in the chat for you. This is the Streamline form for the ratings. I also did put it up at the top in a tab where it says, at the very top where it says superintendent, and I put it there as well. Just so that you don't have to find yourself to keep digging for, because at the end of the day, you're going to review all the evidence, you're going to write your narrative, but the ratings are what Mr. D'Agostino is going to need from you, and there's multiple ways that you can create that or complete that task. But you can see I took out a lot of the narrative, all of the text boxes, so that you're just entering in the ratings as it relates to the progress towards his goals in the standard ratings. Okay? Now, I know I just threw a lot at you. And I just wanted to the last part is on the left-hand side, where you see under general, and you see each of your names, you'll see it says it's locked. That is your own separate channel by which you can go in your own space with your own chat, and you can work on any Microsoft Word document, any kind of other kind of document you might want to use in terms of creating a narrative, and it's your own space that I can't go into, that no one else can see, so that it's private, because that's an important part of this process for you to come to your ratings on your own, and then before they're ready to be shared out. So if you have trouble accessing those private spaces, let me know, and I can help you, and we will provide you any additional support. I don't expect you to all to become expert Teams users right now. It's taken us quite some time, but I'm happy to support each of you in any way that you need. Take any questions you might have about this. But again, I'm only a email or a chat away. You can chat me in this very site, and I can arrange some time to help you and support you in this process.
Is there, and this is awesome, by the way, this solves so many difficulties that we've had with this process from the old days of being handed thumb drives and then,
Yeah.
oh, I have Office 2000, I have Office 2003, and it doesn't open right, and the district had Office whatever, and, you know, the only question I have is in the actual evaluation, two questions. Is there a place where one could, or can we create? You said you took out the narrative. Can we put that back?
Yes. So one of the things we're working on right now, and we'll put it in your private channels, is a template, a Microsoft Word template that will be created that will address each one of the goals and each one of the, as far as the goals, the student learning outcome goal, the professional practice goal, and the district goals. And it will allow you a space just to speak to those particular areas. Then you could copy and paste it and send it to you. You can actually, they can just share it with you if they want to from the team site itself. They can upload it into the files from the team site. All of that can happen right here, but they can work on it. You all can work on it privately in your own channel. So we're going to upload that as soon as Donna creates that template for us. We'll get that uploaded to you.
And then everybody will have that as the way to share their comments about each of the criteria, which we can then, the three of us, work on to create the review and all of that. Okay.
Exactly.
Cool.
Exactly.
And then I think that I think that addresses my second question, which is one of the issues was the ability to work on it, save it, walk away, come back, and I think that
one of the
pretty much
beauties
solves it.
one of the beauties of Microsoft and the Office suite that we use is that, and I'm not a salesperson, but one of the great things is that it is an autosave feature, so you don't ever have to worry about whether or not you've saved your work, and that is a great thing. It also does require, there are some nuances with it, so when you use it for the first time, you want to, maybe talk through some things with Michelle or I, but really it is a great feature that is automatically there. And the other piece of it is you can share it right from that Word document, share it with you immediately. You don't have to email it, you can just share it, and you can see their edits in real time. It's truly a collaborative feature and a collaborative space.
Right. So when they feel they're ready to share what they have, they can just add me, share it with me, and then we can pull it all
and
together.
Copy the link. And the hope is really, honestly, I do get a little excited about this stuff, is that this could be used for sharing of any kind of minutes, so that you don't all have to go through emails that you get. Minutes could be uploaded here. Agendas can be uploaded here. Everything can be, you've received it because it's all been shared in your team site. And I think the possibility of using this as a real collaborative space is great.
Yeah, you're right. And it certainly, to your point, has a lot of other uses for us to be able to receive documents and have them stored in a place that we can just go right to. That's awesome. This is great.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
Sure. Are there any questions that I can answer?
Yeah. Anyone else?
I just wanted to say thank you. This is so much easier than how we've done this in the past. So I'm actually looking forward to it. Everything's going to be here. We'll be able to go back, look at things. The last process, I wasn't too excited about it. This one, definitely, we're complete. we've come a long way. This is pretty awesome. So, and we can keep going back and forth with no issue. So once, I didn't want to play around too much, but I saw like the second one that you had emailed us, the evaluation. So we will be able to get into the evaluation, save it, and keep going back and forth.
Yep.
Until we're finished. And when we're finished with it, we'll have a final, like Mr. DiAgostino will be able to go in and grab
Yep.
that information. Okay.
Yes, and the other thing Michelle just reminded me is that one of the features we use, I talked to Michelle a lot during the course of a day this way, is that there is a feature where you can make a Teams call. You can set up a meeting if Mr. DiAgostino needed to just like touch base with people, 4 people real quickly. He can set up a Teams call and you can do that in real time very efficiently. And that can all happen through your computer. You don't need a cell phone. You don't need Zoom. You can all do it through Teams, through your laptops. And it's a great feature. It's how we have communicated really internally for the last 14 months. So.
Any other questions on this, on the technology piece? Anybody want to see anything again? I know, you probably have to get in and do it
Yep.
before you'll really get it, but anybody? All right, thank you both so much again. I can't say it
Not a
enough
problem.
for putting this together and the work you put on it in the short time span. It's much appreciated, and obviously, as we all know, but for the public to know, this is really the beginning of the work, and you guys will be working very closely with all of us for the next really 2-ish months to complete this process. So we really appreciate everything you'll be doing and working with us on for the next couple of months to get this completed. Thank you.
Yep, so I'm just going to finish a couple things that you guys can, then we'll be done. So I want to circle back now that they explained how, that part and how evidence will be uploaded. So just to go over, a few more things about the rubric, and then back to the goals and some things that will be uploaded for evidence. And then, as you know, the superintendent's rubric is based off the Department of Education guidelines. It is expected that most effective educators, and superintendents included, will be rated proficient. Exemplary ratings are reserved for those who use practice in a particular area is so strong that can be a true model for others. I was recently in the New York Times, so I'll put a picture in there of that.
Are you
Moving
reminding
on.
us that you may be a model for
Moving
others
along.
in some areas?
Student learning goals. So again, ensure students and the teacher have access to high-quality research-based instructional resources across all content areas. And again, here's some, goals that support that we adopted a learning management system, Schoology. So we had consistent teaching and a learning platform that was available pre-K to 12 and provide guidance and support for teachers to meet those expectations. Work to streamline professional development offerings across all school by using our professional development task forces at each level to support teachers in their transition from fully remote to hybrid learning. Provide structures to increase teachers' knowledge around instructional technology to enhance teaching and learning. We piloted and adopted a middle school ELA curriculum program with the goal of a full implementation in the coming school year. We continue to work with the district design team to identify the needs of students, staff in the community, and implement timely responses to those needs. The professional practice goal, again, things that we did to support this, lead over 100 BPS administrators through a professional development module focused on the 2020 district review findings. And again, this was important for all administrators to understand what our district view said. Initiated the strategic planning process through a SWOT analysis with 100 BPS administrators. That was done last week with Laurie Likas for Planning for Success, and that's going to help us build our new strategic plan. We're reviewing the infrastructure of the Office of Teaching and Learning to ensure we are able to support and monitor curricula, academic programs, professional development, and educator evaluation. Continue to provide structures that foster collaboration among district and building leadership to share best practices across all the levels. District Goal 1, Culture and Context. What we did to support this: continue to explore and evaluate our equity, diversity, and inclusion efforts. We have created a diversity, equity, and inclusion office, and we'll be hiring a new executive director of that office within the next couple of weeks. We have expanded our work on centering equity in schools through our ongoing professional development opportunities with Dr. Amina Pilgrim and Manuel Fernandez. We continue and strengthen our community partnerships as seen in our work with the BPS parent groups and also with the Brockton interfaith community. Partnering with DESE in the development of an MOU to support district-wide improvement across all standards assessed in the 2020 district review. District Goal 2, we already did that. Did I do them backwards? I did 2 and then 1. Sorry. So reverse those. I did 2, then 1. So District Goal 3. Yeah, sorry, Mayor. Yeah.
Yeah, but was he
I know.
modeling suits or was he
Yeah.
as a superintendent?
I know. I think it was a suit. And the shoes, I think. So finally, District Goal 3 is operations and finance, examining the current organizational structure for central and school-based supports to determine the deficiencies in areas that directly impact teaching and learning. We are prioritizing facility repairs in older structures to ensure adequate teaching and learning spaces, and also to help increase enrollment in the areas of bilingual and special education. Actually, where the work on the modulars that we're doing and implemented, that is because of the increased enrollment with our bilingual and special education students. My favorite one, we are implementing a district plan to purchase BPS buses and vans as we are planning to open our own transportation company. We developed a 3-year plan as required by DESE under the Student Opportunity Act. Continue to focus on safety and security and stay above the curve and keeping our students and staff safe and healthy. Completed the process to equip all schools with one-to-one technology, and we are now working on implementing our facility master plan. And we are submitted statement of interest for a few schools. We're ready to finalize. Actually, the Huntington School will be receiving their new roof this summer, and we continue to work on other statement of interest with the MSBA. So pretty much, that's pretty much it. I just wanted, those are the things and the evidence that will be uploaded that cover all those areas. So
Great. And
thank you.
make sure that we put in the budget an AED device in the superintendent's office for when we start the transportation. Anyway, I'm just teasing. It'll be fine, Mike. It'll be fine. Okay, couple things that I just wanted to mention from overall of the information tonight. These are great tools, but we do have to keep in mind 2 things. Any chatting we do, we are creating public records. So if we use Teams and do communicate with each other, those are same as our emails. Those are public records. So be mindful of that. And again, if you use Teams to have any kind of a meeting, we got to be mindful of open meeting laws and quorums and things of that nature. So just be mindful of those 2 things, everybody, as we use these tools going forward. So I just wanted to mention that. And again, thank everybody involved in this. Any questions from the committee at this point? Comments? We good? All right. That's, I think, concludes the technology demo part. Thank you very much again. I can't say it enough. Anything under other business for the contract subcommittee? Okay, I don't have anything. And then item number 4 has changed, and Mayor, I'll ask your parliamentary advice on this. We've heard from Attorney Spatafor that we would not be having executive session this evening. Do we need a vote to change that agenda, to delete that from the agenda? Or?
Just make a record, statement on the record. You do not. It's an agenda item, but you can put a statement on the record saying that that agenda item on the advice of council is no longer needed this evening.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
Then I'll do that. I'm going to just state for the record, advice of our counsel, Sarah Spatafor. The executive session item is no longer needed this evening, so the committee will not go into executive session. So before I entertain a motion to adjourn, anything else for this superintendent I can't even say it. Superintendent's contract subcommittee meeting. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn then.
Motion to adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn properly by Mrs. Sullivan, properly seconded by Mrs. Mendez. I'm going to call the roll. Mayor Sullivan?
Yes.
D'Agostino is a yes. Ms. Asak? Yes. Mrs. Mendez? Yes. Mr. Minicello?
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Mrs. Sullivan?
Yes.
Mr. Sullivan?
Yes.
All right, we are adjourned. Thank you, everybody, for your time tonight.